Hello and welcome to episode 6 for season 6 of this Bristol Rovers save. It's a first championship season and one that started a lot better than I was expecting, if I'm honest. A 1-0 away win against recently relegated Coventry. They'd just come down from the Premier League. A little bit disappointing to lose at home to Wrexham, who were the team that picked us to the title, won the title quite comfortably really in the end last season, before we drew away at QPR. Our League Cup run was a narrow penalty win against Bromley before defeat to Cardiff, and then beating Birmingham at home in the in the Championship again cemented a really good start. If I take you to the actual Championship table, you'll see that not only are we in 8th, having started really well, but that is a massive overachievement based on the fact that the prediction is suggesting we are going to be comfortably relegated 250 to 1 for promotion. And actually, if you look at the other promoted teams, they're expected to do much better than us. In the same division as Bristol City for the first time in this save, which is exciting. You'd imagine they will be a little bit better than us still, given they've just come down from the Premier League, but we will be playing them later on in the save. And it's going to be a real struggle, you'd imagine, based on this. Ipswich and Coventry predicted to be the two automatic promoted teams. However, those 2 early clean sheets show that we have started quite well. There's been a lot of changes, as you would imagine, to the team. If I sort this by, let's do it by fee. So the big transfers, we knew we had to sign a new goalkeeper. Jed Ward hadn't really improved the way that we expected. So Samuel Archer has come in from Stockport and has started the season quite well. We confirmed the signing of Rocco Simic for just under £1 million as well, which, given his value, is a bit higher than that. We did reasonably well. He finished the season so well last season, earned us that promotion. We had to kind of confirm that deal. Couple of free signings. Josh Edwards is a left back that has come from Charlton on a free. Ali McCann, a central midfielder from Preston, on a free. And then a few more free transfers. Gustavo Nunes, who we had on loan from Brentford, we signed on a free as well after his contract expired with them. Bade Aluko he's going to be a right wing back for us, but can play anywhere across the back. 4 has come in on a free as well. A young French attacking midfielder, Bouraima, has come in on a free as well and has actually featured in the first couple of games. And Divine Mukasa has come in on a free as well. Very high transfer value on particularly this guy, Divine Mukasa. If we go to his career, you'll see he's a Man City loan player who played quite a few games for Palermo last season. The season before last. We're all going back to Man City and not featuring, so he is a bit of a coup. Played quite a lot of games for Swansea in 27-28, so certainly a good player for us. And then some loanees. Tynan Thompson has played 3 of the first games, and Gerald Roberts 2, both attacking players. Both on the left actually, from Cardiff and Spurs respectively. And then David, a holding midfielder from Southampton, who can also play at the back as well, but has mainly featured so far for us as that holding midfielder. And that is it for the players we've brought in. In terms of players on the way out, Mane's contract expired and then he went off to Queen of the South. We sold Onyemachi for 68,000, so there's the most profit there, as with Sean Roberts, who looks like he started quite badly for Cornella in Spain. And then a lot of players out on loan. Roos featured at the start of the season, but we've let him go out to Wimbledon, given that we've brought in a few good left-sided loan players ourselves. Hopefully he'll live up to his potential there. Leo Tanner is one of the young goalkeepers, has gone out to Dagenham and is playing regularly there, which is good. Matthew Green, another young attacking player on the right, has gone to Forest Green. Mullin, one of the other goalkeepers, to Gillingham, and they're playing regularly, which is good. Boyd, a young left-sided attacking player, has gone on loan to Maidstone, where he is playing regularly so far. Daniel Osman, a young centre-back, to Orient. Brannigan not really featuring at the moment with Stevens, which isn't ideal, as with Baresi for Central Coast Mariners, but I think that's because their season probably hasn't started yet. And then Jake Fletcher, the young Thai striker, has gone out to Barnet. So that's where we are in terms of our recruitment. 5.5 million spent, which when you think about how many players we let go at the end of during last season is not a huge surprise. It's not showing any transfers from last season, so I can't really let you reflect on that. Although what I can show you obviously some of the players that went the season before. I don't know why that's not working. In terms of how that leaves our squad, this is the team that has started the season. So Archer has come in goal. We're using Kafora and Aluko rotating in that right back position, although Aluko hasn't started well, so Kafora has taken his place. David actually is one of the two centre backs with Feeney, although Abbott again is competing for that place with Edward, the new left back, in there. A totally new midfield of McCann as the deepest, with Blasi, who's come in on loan. Not sure I showed you him. A young Italian that's on loan from Roma with a lot of ability and could go on to be quite a good player as well, with Makosa as the more attacking of the three. Devine can play in any of those positions obviously as well, but he has lost his place. And the young attacking midfielder Burema is also in contention there. Nunez has come back into that position on the right, with Thomas on the left and Simic starting up front. Those are not 5-star players, you just can't see their full ability. Poku we have decided not to register in the decision to go with Williams and James instead. So actually it's probably going to be James that takes that place there. Poku's worth quite a lot, but no one seems to be interested. We're certainly not going to get 16 million for him. Although we did have an offer from Bromley for 8 million, which I don't think they're going to be able to afford. But he is one that's not going to feature this season, and hopefully we can move him on in January. So that is where we are. It's been a good start, and I will be back at the end of the January up window with another update. Hello, and we've reached the end of the January transfer window in 2031, and there's a couple of quite significantly positive updates I have for you. So, as you can see, results fairly mixed, but in our first season in the Championship that was very much to be expected. A lot of draws, but if I take you to the Championship table, you'll see that has us in 14th, so just below mid-table, but 37 points keeps us 11 clear of the relegation zone and above Bristol City on goal difference, which suggests a really good start so far. If I take you back to the fixture schedule, you'll see that in our first Bristol derby, the first Bristol League derby for quite a long time, we won 3-1 thanks to goals from Nunez and Simic, the pair that had taken us up to the Championship, being fairly successful in the Championship. As for the recruitment, there is one quite spectacular signing that I have to show you. So if I go to transfer history and sort it by date, you will see that two players have come in. Alfie McElroy, a young player on loan, come in from Blackburn that we are now trying to loan out. Again, one with potential. And you'll see at the top, we have signed Lennart Karl from Bayern Munich's second team. I'm really not sure what's happened in this save. The fact that he, in real life, has been so successful. In fact, he played 14 games and played reasonably well for Bayern in the 25-26 season, and then seemed to lose his place, ended up on loan at Augsburg, and we've picked him up for 900,000. We originally signed him on at the end of his contract for the end of this season, but Bayern only wanted 900k to make it permanent, and so it seemed like a bit of a no-brainer, and he played first game off the bench and got an assist on his debut in the last game. So a remarkable signing, really. It feels a bit unrealistic, but if the save throws up those opportunities, then of course we're going to take them. If I take you to the system at the moment that we are using, quite a bit of rotation going on. The right back position is definitely somewhere we need to improve. We've got Smith and Abbott, as well as Aluko and Kafora, who are all rotating in that spot. Basically, one player will come to me to say they're unhappy with their game time. They'll have that spot for a while, and then it will move to the next player that says they're unhappy. So that's where we are with that for the moment. A fairly settled front five at the moment, with it being Devine and McCann who are competing for that defensive midfield spot. Probably go back to McCann in the next game Anyway, but that's where we are. A really good start. If I very quickly show you the squad so you can see who has powered this success so far. In fact, let me show you the wages that we're paying people first. Obviously, Carl is now our highest earning player. We signed him onto a reasonable contract. One slight frustration is we've been trying to move Poku on. We had an offer of 4 million that we accepted, but the board want 8 million. So it's very unlikely we're going to get anything for him before his contract expires at the end of the next season. We're trying to move Slater and Heath on as well. I'm not sure why Thompson thinks he is surplus to requirements given that he's on loan. I guess that must be what his parent club think of him. So maybe that is someone that we could look at permanently, possibly into the season from Spurs. And then if I show you in terms of who has done what so far this season, standout player, obviously Carl has only made one appearance off the bench, but Mukasa has had a really good season from us. He was a really good permanent signing, and has been our best player so far this season. Blassie on loan. Smith probably deserves more game time given how well he's played when he has played. David is on loan, and then obviously Simic has done really well being our leading scorer. Mukasa's 7 goals has helped him keep that high average rating, with Roberts, Nunes. Interesting that 2 of those 3 Nunes goals came against Bristol City, and it's been Mukasa and Way that have been our assisters. So a really good start. It's probably worth me also showing you very quickly the cup performances. So we are due to play Chelsea in the FA Cup 4th round, having beaten Woking with our reserve team in the 2nd round. As for the League Cup, we were defeated by Cardiff. I think you probably saw that in the previous update. Defeated by Cardiff after beating Bromley in the 1st round. So hopefully a bit of a payday at Chelsea. We wouldn't expect to win that game, but obviously we can see how we will go. And I will be back at the end of the season with an update in which we have hopefully secured our position in the Championship for next season, and hopefully possibly even have recruited 1 or 2 more for the next season. Hello, so in the final part of this episode we have reached the end of the season, and despite a really poor run of form with only 3 points, 2 wins in total in March, and then this really poor run of form to close the end of the season, we did do enough to make sure that we survived. If I take you to the table, open this bit, you will see that we finished 17th, 8 points clear of the relegation zone in the end, so that poor run of form didn't really hurt us too much. So I guess really that's a mission accomplished. First season in the Championship, finished 17th, not really under any threat of relegation, so we can hope to move on from there. In terms of how our team performed, it was Simic who finished, as you would probably have guessed, as our top scorer, but his form did drop off significantly towards the end of the season. Mukasa proving a good signing though, coming 2nd in that tally and with the most assists. Average rating wise, Mukasa obviously stood out as well, and the fact that Simic was our 2nd best player this season shows you how we did struggle, certainly more so than we did last season when we won promotion. But really that's everything. I'm not going to share with you the transfers that we've made because we have already arranged a fair few transfers for next season, which I will show you when we get there. What I thought it might be worth doing though is giving you a brief overview of the world, just so you've got an idea of how the save is looking generally. So first of all, the Premier League has been won twice by Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, and then Arsenal again. English Footballer of the Year being Mbappe shows you that he has signed for Man City and is having great success there. 5 years in, possibly the most shocking thing is not particularly that Oliver Glasner has taken over as England manager, but just quite how badly England have performed in this save. They actually missed out on the last major tournament altogether. I wonder if I can bring that to you. They are ranked 4th in the world. But if I take you to, let's first of all look at the European Championships, which is due to take place next summer in 2032. I think England have qualified for that. But if I show you the World Cup, there we go. If I take you to the last World Cup, I was looking through at this earlier in the season. It's only going to show me the new one that's upcoming, I guess. Brazil obviously have won the last one, as you can see there, after the Dutch won it in 2026. But England actually failed to qualify for this 2030 World Cup. I don't think I can show you that. They finished second in their group and then lost in a playoff round to Germany, which was why Tuchel was sacked. But England missing out on the World Cup is a bit of a shock for 2030. The other thing probably worth bringing you is the World Footballer of the Year. Elise has won at either side of Lamal in 2029. Salah in 2026. I think we know that's not going to happen in real life. And Florian Wirtz the year after, despite this being a period of domination for Arsenal in the Premier League. The Champions League is probably also worth bringing you a brief update on. And if I take you to the past winners, you'll see that Spurs won a title. Sporting winning the 25-26 one right at the first season is definitely a bit of a shock. Then Liverpool, Bayern, Spurs and Madrid. So that really is that. 5 years into the save, we are pretty much where we wanted to be, all the way up to the Championship, finishing mid-table. And in the next episode, I will bring you our first attempt, really, our first serious attempt at moving upwards in the Championship and hopefully trying to work our way towards Premier League promotion. But that is all for this one. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to see more.